Welcome to the Creating Experience podcast, brought to you by JC Entertainment and Events. I'm Emma.
And I'm James.
And we're back.
It's been a while. We said that episode was coming next week.
December 2019.
Did you look it up?
I looked it up.
Oh, man.
So
What's happened since December 2019?
Oh, my goodness. We said we weren't going to talk about the C word, but...
No, I'm not talking about it. It's done. It's moved on.
Didn't exist.
Didn't happen.
Okay, cool.
Next,
well, we've been pretty crazy. We've got Team's
back.
We've got a lot of new faces, and we've got a lot of events.
Yeah.
And I guess the end of last year was like...
It's pretty
crazy.
So what are we doing today? We're talking about events from 2022.
Our highlights.
Highlight events.
Yeah.
All right, you go first.
I'm going first?
Yep.
We'll start from the top, the biggest one. It was a big job. So I won't use names unless I slip up, but I won't use full names. It was a 50th birthday, and the client had started booking her event, and you didn't know this story.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. And I said, save it for the camera.
Yeah.
And she essentially started booking, and then there was too many things and she became overwhelmed. So she reached out, and we were referred by Madden & Co.
Mm-hmm.
And because Jen thought it was something more around the lines of what we do, which was very true. And I met Sharon. Oh, there we go. There we go. Her name was Sharon. And met Sharon in end of March, and the event was in May. So essentially had a 7 to 8 week turnaround on the event, which was absolutely crazy.
It wasn't your standard 50th birthday party.
And it wasn't. And I'll go into a little bit of detail why. The overview of the event, private property in a remote location. And we had absolutely nothing. So brought in everything from a marquee, and it just built and built from there. So she booked a band and some dancers, and that was basically where it was at. So...
Did we use those band and dancers?
Yeah.
Was that who had already been booked?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We didn't talk for about 8 weeks.
No, I didn't
apart from the production side.
I didn't know who you were.
And just at that time, we'd taken on...
Maeve had come on board.
We'd taken on Maeve, who was incredible throughout the process. And I wouldn't have been able to execute the event if it wasn't for her coming on board as well. But... we also took over the management of an event space at Foresters Beach at the quarters, and that was at exactly the same time we took on this party. So it was essentially a full event management role. So we brought in Prestige, who again were absolutely incredible. What size was our marquee?
I think it was I'm pretty sure it was it ended up being a 40 meter by 20 meter marquee, but the reason we did that was the last 5 meters of the marquee was essentially back of house space.
Yeah.
So the event space was
30 by 20.
Or 35.
35 by 20.
But it was big. It was big. It was a big marquee at the time.
It was one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
Pretty rocky road. So again, it was managing that site from radios at each end, trying to manage traffic coming in and out, and then essentially bringing in toilets, showers as well, because on-site glamping tents, we also organised those. Then from marquee, we lined the whole thing. So it was black lined with fairy lights.
Black drape around all the walls. Black silk lining. Fairy light draping. Chandeliers.
Oh, forgot about the chandeliers.
If those are watching the video, we might.
I think we need to drop
some footage over the top.
Yeah,
of what we're
definitely.
talking about so people can understand.
And then the brief was a jazz band, so immediately thought of our friends Emma Pask and her band, and she was absolutely incredible. Even hired a car, which was the Gatsby car. And then caterers, Archer, were incredible. They did the day before. No, on the day, catering, night, and then the next morning we did a breakfast.
An important note on that was Gaz kept us fed.
Gaz was...
Because I know from the production
Gaz and Julia.
We'd had a massive week with other events, and we were a bit behind the eight ball going into Saturday. And I think me and Jacob just worked from like 7 o'clock to the start of the event.
Yeah.
But Gaz kept bringing us food, which was really good. It's something to think about because people don't think about setup.
Time. It's always the event, isn't it? You don't normally think about...
But looking after your suppliers. It was good. He was good.
Yeah.
Even after he fed...
He kept feeding us the whole time. He's a feeder, that man.
He's good.
He is. And then, so Ben, and then across to production. So I guess the great thing about doing event management with JC, or us here at JC, is that we were able to do the full event management, and then I would come in and talk to James about the production side. So can you just talk about what we did from a production standpoint?
Production side for this one, we had, obviously it was a main focal point was the stage at the end of the room. I think it must have been like a 6 meter by 4.8 meter stage, maybe. My 7.2 by 4.8 meter stage, and then we had a 6.5 meter LED screen at the back of it.
Yep.
And then either side of the stage, you actually had truss arches because you had aerial.
Oh, that's aerial
performers.
Yeah.
And then all the lighting was hung out of the roof. But one thing we did, and you'll see those looking on the video, will see we truss socked all the truss, so everything just sort of looked like it was floating.
That was probably my biggest thing as well with the client. We both had this vision that we didn't want to see any of the marquee. We wanted it tidy and clean. Even the flooring, we put down floor and then carpet tiles over the top. So
it was a marquee done properly for sure. But and then the video as you walked in, you were just sort of just transformed from this paddock to like a whole nother world.
Which was her brief as well.
Cool. What else we have? Sparkulars. We had some sparkulars and some confetti guns.
I hired in a champagne tower.
That's right.
The styling was done by Nikki from Sparked Events, who she's always, any kind of brief that I throw at her, especially Gatsby. It seems to be like we gravitate towards Gatsby events. I don't know what it is, but if you need a Gatsby event, we've got it nailed now.
Got it covered.
And there was one other thing. Oh, the Sydney props.
With the bar.
The bar. Yeah. Little extra bits and pieces. So if I've forgotten anything, I can't. It was essentially a full 360 roll. Yeah. And it is something that I just absolutely, as testing as it was, the outcome was absolutely incredible. And looking back now, I just can't believe we pulled it off in that
it was definitely one
time frame.
I mean, key takeaways, I'd probably like another 2 days to set that event up.
I would like another 2 months to plan.
But you got it done.
We got it done.
Just another 2 days on the setup would be nice.
That's from your side.
That's from my side.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's a bit of an overview of that one. What about your highlight event?
My highlight event. Which one should I do first? Oh, Chrome Fest came first in my order of numbers. So
that's your highlight.
Talk about Chrome Fest.
Yes.
It was an event. I think for us that event, obviously, it's Central Coast Council event in October. Down at the entrance, it's sort of what's the word? There's like a real tradition to that event. It's been going longer than I've been around probably.
Well, that's not hard.
But yeah, we look after the entertainment. We look after the entertainment and the sound and lighting production for council on that one. The event runs Friday to Sunday. We have 4 stages. 4 stages. Memorial Park stage, Waterfront Plaza stage. Bayview. No, we didn't do Bayview this year. The entrance hotel stage.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
And then we had some side shows at the Entrance Leagues Club.
However, we did end up at the Bayview. No? What's the top pub?
No, Lakes Hotel.
Oh, the Lakes Hotel, because it rained.
Lakes Hotel.
That's probably a good thing to talk about.
That's why I put that event down.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, you just stole my... You want to talk about it? But anyway, it's one of those big events where, we there's lots of little moving parts to it, and I think it's that one we have 6 to 8 months to plan that one, but there's a lot of logistics from the entertainment side around the band coordination for that event, and then there's obviously a lot of extra parts as well that are thrown in there from council's side of things in terms of programming an event. But setup was fun. It's obviously, I think the big one we set up, and we've got a pretty good relationship with a lot of our suppliers that we obviously engage, but it's being able to communicate with your suppliers and understand what they need from a time perspective and what we need from a time perspective, because otherwise you could be sitting on site twiddling thumbs or people trying to work over the top of each other, and
there's not a lot of time
it just
either.
doesn't work. In events you get one shot at it, so but this year it rained. So I think we set up on the Thursday. Friday happened.
Yep.
I think it was a little bit wet. Saturday happened. We were really lucky with Saturday. It didn't really rain that much. It was very light on and off, and we had three full stages going all day. You had a band though pull out on the Saturday, wasn't it?
So we had a band pull out, and then
he was sick,
we were
wasn't
trying to he was sick, I think. Maeve, shout out. Maeve looked after most of Chrome Fest Day because I had other events.
Yeah.
I was working on other events as well.
That week.
That weekend we had a lot. And then it was trying to replace that, but the band that we didn't end up replacing because it was that, I think it was either that morning. It was the morning of the Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But we just negotiated with the band that was already on that stage, and they played a
full day.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night we had the dance show at the Entrance Leagues Club with the class of 58 who'd come out from England.
UK, yep.
Which they were brilliant as always. Turned up to site Sunday morning, and the front of house tents like half a foot underwater. And we got the call to activate the wet weather plan,
which we'd planned prior.
Which had been planned out. So
yeah.
It essentially meant one stage went to Entrance Leagues Club.
Yep.
One stage went to the Entrance Hotel inside, so from the car park inside, which was a pretty easy move, and then another stage went to Lakes Hotel.
Yeah.
So, which logistically was, we couldn't have pulled it off without the crew we had.
It was like activate wet weather plan. We're like, oh,
a lot of early morning text messages that morning, but we managed to pull it off, and it was just one of those situations where you had to work around the barriers you had because venues already had pre-booked entertainment later in the afternoon, so it was just, I think, like we rewrote 3 lineup programs in an hour on the Sunday morning. It was pretty full on.
Yeah. That was good.
Good way. It was good to not, like the last 2 years we'd obviously live streamed it from the studio.
Yeah.
Because of the C word, but
it was nice to be back.
It was nice to be back out on site, and considering the rain, they got pretty good numbers on the Saturday. So we'll see what happens this year, 2023, with that one.
Yes.
Next event,
Carols in the Park. This year we had the opportunity to tender for the event. It went out to tender, and we won the tender.
But what was the tender this time? It wasn't.
So the tender was full event management. So not normally our tenders with council are production and entertainment. This one was a full event management. So from site logistics, roving entertainment, where normally that's taken care of by council, booking of food vendors, then production and entertainment. It was the whole thing. Yeah. Which was great. I really enjoyed this event.
Something a bit different for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something very different from that side. However, now we've done it and we're about to do it again for another event, which we'll talk about. It's something that I think is definitely the direction of where we're heading. But yeah, the roving entertainment was super fun. We had Lara Coffey and her girls doing that. And then we also had a band, so we worked with a musical director to put together a band down to picking all the carols and Had DJ Elf feature.
Yep.
She was great, aka Maeve. And even though Christmas Eve, the feedback that we've had from 99.8 people,
99.95
people, is that it was a brilliant event. I've had feedback from kids that were there that it was the best Christmas Eve that they've ever had. So it was, and as soon as I hear comments like that, I'm like, it makes everything worth it. You don't look at the negative.
It makes it worthwhile working on a Christmas Eve, that's for sure.
And the other thing too, the feedback I had on that was, gone are the days of traditional carols where people want to sit in with a book and just sit there. They want to be entertained. Like you look at carols on TV and Mingara carols, it's all about entertainment now and about families and bringing them together, entertaining the kids, and
while still having a live band too. I think live music, band over backing tracks. If you've got the budget to make it happen and do it properly, as you said, like we engaged. Normally I do it, but this year we passed the baton on.
It was so good.
Passed the baton on to Nathan.
Nathan, who was brilliant.
He did a cracker job on it, and the whole band. It was a really. I'm pretty picky when it comes to that sort of thing, and
they nailed it.
I had to mix front of house, but it was.
Did you have FOMO? Do you get like?
Not really. No, I don't think so. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
It was a really enjoyable band to sit and listen to, which was. I think it would have been worse if the band.
It was cringe.
Wasn't.
Yeah.
But the band, it was a great band.
Yeah.
Really good band. So
and all our singers.
Yeah, all the singers, and it's just one of those ones that it's a little bit more effort to coordinate.
Yeah.
But the end result is a lot better. And then going to lead screen for lyrics instead of a songbook. Can we get the words 3 weeks out so we can print a program?
And that's the other thing is you can literally change words on the spot.
Yeah.
But the positive thing too is that we had the band, we had the lyrics. During the rehearsal, we went through all the lyrics anyway. So.
And on that point, lead screen, we've put lead now on the last couple of outdoor events, and it's just from sponsor branding awareness, and then being able to even put messaging out to patrons. And then, for carols to be able to change song lyrics pretty much 24 hours to the event.
2 hours.
Or 2 hours before the event is great.
Yeah.
So I definitely, that's my big one for 2023.
Lead screen.
Lead screen. Those who have already used it are already converted.
Yeah, so definitely.
Get on it.
Okay, your second event.
This was my big one.
Jimmy's. So we had both had two major events this year, and this is Jimmy's second.
This was my one.
His one.
So we did the Master Builders Association National Excellence Awards in the Hunter Valley in November, and we worked closely with Marcus again from Prestige. It was his client, and it was one of the. It's 12 months in the making. This one. And I think we went through 4 or 5 different contacts at the Master Builders Association through the process. But it was a really great team. 50 metre by 20 metre or 50 metre by 25 metre marquee. No, 20 metre. 50 by 20 metre marquee. And essentially they split it into 2 zones. So the first 15 metres was pre-event space. And we hung a drape that opened up into the second half of the venue, which essentially was your dining space, and I think it was a 400 pax event. LED screen backdrop, 2 LED screens either side of stage, cameras, packages, so we had iMag either side, so people who were not so much close to the stage could see what was going on stage. Audio, separate band set up in the pre-event area, room lighting. We had a media tent out the back for post-event interviews. We had festoon canopy, which was a special custom thing for the client, and as painful as it was to build it, it looked pretty good.
I've over the years heard you say we're not doing festoon.
We're not doing
festoon, and now we own
We've got 400
A
meters
lot
of
of meters.
festoon, so if you need festoon for your next event,
Call Jimmy,
call us.
and then he'll pass it.
Yeah. So yeah, festoon canopy, outdoor lighting. We had outdoor beams. It was just a really big event, and then let alone like the actual delivery of the event. I think we had over 250 pieces of content. So there was a huge factor on that, because they'd had previous events where they hadn't gone so well. But that came down to a particular type of software that people were trying to run. It was a bit beyond a PowerPoint presentation, that event. So, but yeah, it was, one of those events where lots and lots of planning sort of came off in the end, and client was really happy. I think it was a three-day event setup. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Event happened on the Saturday. By 12 o'clock Sunday, the next day, there was literally a shell of the marquee. The marquee was going.
Nuts.
It was crazy to see how quickly that event came out. So,
Isn't it funny? You go through all the planning, months and months, all the bump in.
Yeah.
The event happens in a few hours.
Yeah.
And it's just
And
over.
then it's gone. And that's but that's like, I think that's the biggest, like, there was so many things that could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
With that event. But as long as you're planned and you're prepared with it, like, I think the content, even we got a week out for that, which is
unheard
nice.
of.
There was a few minor changes we were changing, the afternoon.
But
we were
that's
fine.
fine.
But it was, for a show like that's easily the biggest show we've done from a content content standpoint. So, but yeah, no, that was huge event. And even like all this year, last year, the team pulled some pretty crazy because we had another event for a regular client that week happening as well, which Lockie looked after. So we just had
the Master Builders one, and then we also had a 50th Gatsby
that night too,
birthday, which I was managing.
You were managing.
At it.
So
it was just multiple days events.
Yeah, so
multiple events across the one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're lucky we've got an awesome team now, and we're just lucky that, they're happy to do the hard yards with us.
As long as there's not 400 meters of festoon.
Yeah. Or Pix balls.
But they're two fantastic products.
Yeah.
You should really check
Jacob
them out.
really loves doing them.
Check them out. So
Jacob.
But yeah. So that
wrap up.
I think that's.
Oh, there's one thing that we forgot to mention.
What?
We got engaged.
Oh yeah. Put a ring on it.
Finally.
How are the wedding plans going?
Oh.
We're not talking about that.
No, we've got a date, but at this stage it's 5 months away, and I don't know what I'm doing.
We're not talking about it.
Yeah.
We'll plan it. If anyone knows any good event plan.
Look, I can pull off a
huge
event in 7 weeks. I can pull off a wedding in 7 weeks.
That's the challenge. All right. What do we got coming up? What do we got? What's happening for the rest of January?
January, we've been doing social spaces for Central Coast Council. So they've been happening over December and January. This week's a big week for them. I think, how many have we got?
We've got
6?
We've got 6 this week. So I think the entrance, Tukli Town Centre, Wyong Town Centre. If you head to Council's website or head to our Facebook page. And we'll get some info there.
Then we've got Stray Day.
Stray Day for Central Coast Council at Leagues Club Park.
Which is a different new venue this year.
Different location. There is fireworks.
There's 5 awesome bands, Central Coast based bands.
Yeah, cracking bands. 27th, day after Australia Day. You go for it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Oh, Rock the Farm, East Coast Juice. So we partnered with East Coast Juice on that. Who we got? Sea Gypsies?
Yep.
Bachelor Girl, which I'm so excited about. Mm-hmm. I'll relive my 20s. And Dragon, I'll also relive my whole 21 years of life. So we're pretty stoked to have that lineup. We've got Star 104.5 on board as our media partner, who are also been awesome.
Mitre 10.
Mitre 10, Pete. Six Strings,
Yeah.
they're doing all of our alcohol,
Chef
which is
Dan.
very important. Chef Dan's doing our catering. Street Boss coming in to do some catering.
Yeah. No, it'd be a great event. So there's not a lot of tickets left. There's
Like 90, not even.
not even 90.
This
I think
morning.
we sold a few more.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on that, 27th of January, head to East Coast website.
And if you're
or
listening
through
to
our
this
Facebook page.
after the event, it was
And-
really good.
Yeah. Disclaimer. If
Disclaimer.
you listen to this after the 27th of January, you would have missed the event.
But
So
stay tuned.
there'll be more.
There'll be more.
And
And then
day after that, geez, it's a
whoa,
busy weekend.
we're going to talk about February. We're going to save that because we're already exhausted talking about our January.
28th of January, Central Coast Mariners take on Western Sydney Wanderers at Industry Group Stadium, and the match day
Well
sponsor
done.
is
Us.
JC.
Woo.
So we're still fine tuning
And we're working
what's happening.
the event. We can't even enjoy it.
No.
Well, we'll enjoy it just
Yeah.
from a work
We'll be
perspective.
working it. So, but that's what we got coming up. So
Yep.
it's busy times. Busy
been,
start to 2023.
very
we've had
busy.
2 weeks off, pretty much. But
When?
well, it's been like, what was it? 2 weeks? No, a week and a bit.
Yeah.
But we're straight back into it. So, but yeah, if you've got an event coming up this year, January, February, March,
March.
we need to talk now.
February we can't talk because
If it's midweek, we can.
okay, midweek. Yes.
If it's a weekend, we'll see what it is. You can hire. We've got speaker hire packs. But yeah,
Contact Matt. He'll
Feb,
help you out.
Feb
with that.
March, need to talk now.
Yeah.
April, May, June. You probably still need to message us now
Now. Yep.
because this year, that's the biggest takeaway from last year is people left stuff to the last minute.
Very much so.
And
But I
It's probably
think
the
it was a
most-
catch up. It was just
Oh,
like a lot of catch up and a lot of like, let's do something and having to execute it pretty
I
quickly.
hate saying no, we're busy. And we had to say that a couple of times last year.
Yeah.
It was weird,
But it's pretty cool.
but it's good. All right. Well, that's, we're back.
We're back.
Gonna
And we've got a great team now that can
Gonna
help
keep-
us
get this
pump
out.
these out.
So
Ash,
where are we listening? What platforms are we putting this on?
Spotify,
We're up on YouTube,
YouTube, Vimeo,
Vimeo, Facebook,
Facebook,
wherever you get your stuff.
wherever you get your stuff, Ash said.
as in the podcast stuff.
Spotify. Did we say Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify.
Yeah.
So, but that's it.
Cool.
It's good to be
It's
back.
a wrap.
It's nice to chat to you.
I don't even know who you are anymore and I'm about to marry you. It's weird.
Anyway,
All
we'll
right.
see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.